As you should. Exactly. Hey, look, gravitation. Cannabis got to be from up north forest from Jamaica. No confirmation, then it's no participation. Never see it in rotation in my conversation. No need for confrontation. This is my observation. Gravitation with the observation. I'm not saying I'm right. I'm not saying I'm wrong, man. We tapping into that boy 1090 Jake with the whole Karmelo Anthony situation, you know, out there in Frisco, Texas. You know, when 1090 Jake, you know, one thing I got to give him, bro, when it comes to researching and doing this, you feel me, due diligence, he gets to it, you feel me, however you might feel about him. But let's go ahead and tap into this. Get your smokes, get your drinks, get your eats, whatever you about to do before we even tap in. Like I always say, grab.
There's no self-defense, because if you are afraid the day before, well, you have to take a weapon to school, why not notify your parents? You getting ready to run track with other kids and you got a knife on you. No, man, you got to go to jail.
Damn, already. And I promise this is my first time seeing it, bro. Okay. So going off with what you saying, right, Charleston, right? You feel me? By your metric, right? If that's the case, why not notify the authorities? You get what I'm saying? Or somebody, the staff, whatever, if you felt like that boy was out of place. I'm pretty sure people already know what the situation and what's going on. If not, you know, it's probably very vaguely or whatever the case may be. It's like I heard a little bit of it, but not too much in detail as far as depth. But Karmelo Anthony was over there in their tent, you know, and they was at a track meet. And, you know, him being over there, that's why Austin, you know, rest his soul, that's why he came and approached him. So my thing is, which is crazy though, because like now that I'm thinking about it, bro, when I ran track and I was on the track team, I was terrible, but football was my thug thizzle. But bro, we was modulating with everybody, bro. We was mingling, you know. We was interacting with everybody. It was never no, oh, bro, be over there on your tent. You can't be over here in this tent. You know what I'm saying? Like 9 times out of 10, bro, we and everybody. And if it got to that point where, okay, well, you need to be over there with your squad, the authority, you feel me? People that's above you, not the students. Not the students that's trying to remove you. It's always the teachers, the staff, the coaches. That's who's trying to, you know, but not the students. That's way out. You know what I'm saying? But by you using that same, like you said, bro, if you felt like you said Karmelo Anthony, if he felt like his life was in danger, which is crazy, you from Texas. You from Texas, Charleston, right? You know what I'm saying? You from Texas, and y'all get it worse than California. Worse than California. California was at a point like that, but nothing compared to the South. You know what I'm saying? So you talking about why do you have that on you, bro? You better keep something on you. I'm not gonna even lie, even as a teenager. Ain't got nothing to do with no race thing. I think you should keep any type of weapon on you when you maneuvering. And that's just me personally. I know y'all probably like, nah, bro, you shouldn't be. No, bro, it's too many crazy people out here and we see it every day. Brandishing it, no. But if you have it on you, some way said, yes, I'm pushing for that. I'm not going. Yes, I'm pushing for that in high school, not during. No, I'm talking about when you get into that. Hey, you about to be in a dog life. From my understanding, he's 17. So yeah, you can. I don't know if you walking from practice by yourself. You get what I'm saying? Walking to from school. It might be nighttime, bro. It's crazy people in the world. It's crazy people in the world. I always tell my daughter to keep mace on her. Something. Real talk. So, yeah, miss me with that, though, bro. Miss me. Charleston, I don't want to make this about Charleston White, but, bro, if you wasn't attacking and doing the Sambo things that you're doing, I can almost guarantee you, bro, we wouldn't know who you are. The shock jock shit is like it's coming to an end, but I can almost guarantee you feel me? If you wasn't playing the Sambo role, we would not know who you are. But let's get into it though.
Talking about he had a knife. You damn right. If you a black man living in America, you better be walking.
Bruh! Come on, man. I just said that. Not even with I know that's Dr. Umar, but I just said that. Come on, bro. What? You better have something.
Around with a talking about he had a knife. You got white boys riding around with guns and y'all crying about a knife.
The hard part that cost me is I lost my son.
What was that?
And his brother was
No, what was that?
White boys riding around with guns and y'all crying about a knife.
The hard part that cost me is I lost
That was
my son.
them?
And his brother.
A
No
white
disrespect. That was
boys
them?
riding around with guns and y'all crying about a knife.
I keep missing it. Hold on, let me do a wise pause. Hopefully, if I can say it like that. My bad, y'all, but I gotta see this one more time.
You damn right. If you a black man living in America, you better be walking around with a talking about he had a knife. You got white boys riding around with guns and y'all crying about a knife.
Oh, that is the bros. Okay. My bad, y'all. Let's get back into it. Okay. Damn, I didn't know that. Okay. Let's go though.
The hard part that cost me is I lost my son. And his brother was holding him, trying to hold the blood in. And he passed. My son watched his brother die in his arms. I need a break.
Unfortunate situation. Unfortunate situation. Regardless of the unfortunate situation, man, prayers out to his family because it's just an unfortunate situation, bro. I wouldn't want anybody going through that. All BS aside, bro. Like, you know, regardless of how you feel, what side or this side, bro, that's an unfortunate situation.
Jeff, first of all, my entire heart rests in your hands. I would be in my position, not even as somebody even knew your son, but somebody that shares the same understanding. I grew up as a 17-year-old young white man too, and I grew up in fear of my life around black people because they were killing and robbing people around me all the time.
My bro, you have some nerve. You have some nerve. Cause I grew up around black and they was killing it. Boy, talk about pushing an agenda. Really? Really? Come on, bro. I don't even want to. I feel like he baited because I'm like, bro, if we really want to bring up the stats when it comes to that crime, when it comes to white crime and white on white crime and black on black crime, and you come on, bro. Yeah, that just, yeah.
And I don't understand as a father, you could sit idly by and not condemn the culture that killed your son.
Are you
crazy?
Yes, I am, sir.
Okay, my turn to speak. You are part of the problem, my friend.
Hey, let's go.
Between two teams.
Let's go. That was Pops. Oh, yeah, let's go. He said, you are part of the problem. Exactly.
Left one dead and the country divided. In this video, we're going to be breaking down the criminal case of Karmelo Anthony. April 2nd, 2025, it was 10 a.m. when the Staley Middle School resource officer heard over the radio there was a stabbing at the school track field. Frisco police would alert nearby officers an athlete was the victim, and the suspect was a black male wearing a gray hoodie and blue sweatpants. The school officer rushed to the stadium where two teens told him the victim was under the Memorial High School tent. Approaching the tent, an adult would point out the suspect, who remained on the track separated from the officer by a chain-link fence. The officer commanded the suspect to keep his hands in the air, and the suspect complied, saying, "I was protecting myself." As the officer placed the suspect in handcuffs, the suspect said, "He put his hands on me." The officer sat the suspect on the ground while advising back up over the radio he had the alleged suspect. The suspect then stated, "I'm not alleged, I did it." By this point, the suspect had the right to remain silent.
Bro, right there, to me, I'm not going to lie, as a 17-year-old or even, bro, as a grown, bro, as an adult, when you admitting that, like, hey, I did that, how can I say it? Like, bro, what's the terms I want? Because I don't want to make it seem like, okay, no, he was right for what he did. What I'm saying is he understands the situation, not fully because obviously he's still a kid, and I'm pretty sure that he was scared. But at the same time, like he was okay with his decision. Let me just say that, like he already made it up in his mind, like, hey, this is what's going to happen. That's what I mean.
He just didn't have the ability. While walking him to the police vehicle, the suspect became emotional, crying hysterically as he said, "He put his hands on me. I told him not to." While in the back seat,
See, that's what I mean. You know, like I say, I'm not necessarily saying that right or wrong. Forget that. I'm not talking about that because I know y'all gonna be like, nah, bro. No, I'm not talking about that. I'm just saying that, hey, you know, you still have adults that sometimes make decisions and regret, like, damn, I tripped out. Damn, why did I do that? But it seemed like with him was like, hey, this is, you know, I'm fully aware, you know, that the actions that, you know, that took place.
he then asked officers if the victim was going to be okay. The suspect would identify himself as 17-year-old Karmelo Anthony, a student from Frisco Centennial High. While this was going on, athletic trainers along with the Frisco Fire Department were attempting to save the victim. The weather turned to a heavy downpour of rain, causing the fire department to place a tent over the victim. A police officer began using his phone to photograph the crime scene, as others began taping off the area and moving non-essential people out of the stadium. Officers were informed the weapon used had been tossed, with a witness stating it was in the bleachers. Officers discovered the folding knife, partially open and still bloody, deciding to cover it with a tarp. An officer grabbed a backpack to weigh the tarp down, noticing it was the only backpack from Centennial High, as all the others were from Memorial. It was later discovered this was the suspect's backpack. The victim, identified as 17-year-old Austin Metcalf, was a Memorial High student. Investigators would learn the stadium was hosting the track and field championship with multiple schools in attendance. The stabbing took place under the Memorial High School pop-up tent in the visitors' bleachers. A witness would tell police he was sitting under the tent with his team and was near his teammate Austin as everything played out. Austin told the suspect, Karmelo, that he needed to move out from under their team's tent. Not only did Karmelo go to a different school, he was under their tent wearing Centennial High clothing.
And like I said, just to bring it back, like I said in the beginning, bro, when we ran track, bro, we was mingling with everybody. 9 times out of 10, if you in somebody's tent, though, I'm gonna be honest, it wasn't full court pressure like that, like pressing, unless you know you being belligerent or you know you tripped, then it'll be a situation. But you know, we mingling with everybody, bro. 9 times out of 10, if you in somebody's tent, okay, you know that person from school, maybe junior high school, or you might have went to that school, you know, the previous year that you transferred. Now you at this school. Like it was never though, even rivals. No, you know what I'm saying? Even rivals. But I'm gonna be honest, in Karmelo's case, right? You know, excuse me, not in Karmelo's case, but in Austin's case, you know, me myself, especially feeling like big dog on campus, and you know, you just won that game, or you feel me? I threw for 4 touchdowns, or you know, ran for 4 touchdowns, caught 4 touchdowns, basketball, whatever it is, you know. I'm just talking about just acting like you being that big man on campus, right? Don't even run track, right? I'm just saying the people that don't even run track, or you can run track, or you feel like you're gonna approach, like, what, bro? Get up out of here. You know what I'm saying? Like I get both sides of it. You feel me? Like coming from Austin's, you know, if they say, well, witnesses like, hey, he did, was like, hey, bro, you got to get up out of here. Now, like I said, once again, I don't know what he was doing, or you feel me, for him to even approach him to say that. That's what's kind of throwing me off. But I get that. You know, you know the jock, you the man around here. So I've done that before too. But at the same time, I just know once it went there, hey, you know, you can't blame nobody else after it took place, you know, once it went there, if y'all get what I'm saying.
Karmelo grabbed his backpack, opened it, and reached inside, telling Austin, touch me and see what happens. The witness told officers no one really thought Karmelo had any weapons, so Austin proceeded to touch Karmelo. Karmelo then told Austin to punch him and see what happens. A short time later, Austin grabbed Karmelo to tell him to move, and Karmelo pulled out what the witness described as a black knife, stabbing Austin once in the chest.
And again, in no disrespect, real talk, no disrespect, man. No disrespect to Austin. I'm not talking about Austin. This is Charleston White. See, Charleston White, when you talk about Karmelo, oh, if he was scared the next, why didn't you alert the authorities? Okay, well, if it was really a problem, why didn't Austin alert the authorities? Why didn't he go get at the... Come on, Charleston.
Before running away, Austin began grabbing his chest, telling everyone to get help, and shortly after, he'd lose consciousness, stop breathing, and never wake up again. 2 more witnesses were found breathing heavily and crying, one of which was identified as the victim's younger brother. He was unable to say much, but his friends said they were sitting on the bleachers under the Memorial High School tent. A male wearing a different school's clothes came and sat down, so Austin told him since he didn't go to Memorial, he had to leave the tent. While arguing, Austin was stabbed and the suspect ran. Austin's younger brother held on to his older brother as he lost consciousness, bleeding out in his brother's arms. It was 10:46 a.m. when Austin was brought into the trauma bay at the hospital. 7 minutes later, he was pronounced dead. His heart had been pierced and he bled to death. Officers listed student witnesses from Lebanon High, Liberty High, Memorial High, Frisco High, Independence High, and Emerson High. Centennial High's head coach told officers he heard his athlete confess to the stabbing, while 2 coaches from Independence High School witnessed the stabbing. Karmelo Anthony would be charged with first-degree murder and transported to the Collin County Jail. Under Texas law, even at 17 years old, Karmelo could and would be charged as an adult. His bond would be set at $1 million. Immediately following his arrest, social media would divide black versus white. Some of the black community would come to the immediate defense of Karmelo, stating it was purely self-defense and he's only been arrested because of the fact that his victim is white. They'd also claim the victim in this case was the aggressor. While GoFundMe doesn't allow funding lawyers for criminal cases, apparently GiveSendGo does, and over $500,000 has been raised for Karmelo with a list of donation.
That's why, honestly, that's why I respect too Austin McCaff. I don't know if I said that, but I respect the fact that like with 1090 saying right now, okay, it became a divide, you feel me, as far as, on social media, a division. But I like the fact that, because this is the first time I heard it. Now, I know it's a whole bunch of stuff on social media, but I'm just saying right now, with the guy that was talking on the phone, I don't know who he was, attorney, or if he was just a regular resident out there. And he's speaking to Austin McCaff, father. And Mr. McCaff, he was like, bro, it's not a race issue. You know what I'm saying? Like, it seemed like you tried to push that agenda. You got cameras, you got microphones in your face, and you told that story. To me, that's race baiting. You know what I'm saying? Like, what? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's clear. That's a bait. But let's keep it going. Like, salute to his father, man, for that.
Comments raising concern amongst journalists. One anonymous donation would label Karmelo an anti-bullying hero, a scholar, and a gentleman. A donator named Black Excellence would donate again, stating, the more these hateful whites show their insecurities and fragilities of losing dominance, sending love, light, and justice to King Karmelo. Rock from Atlanta would comment, we are the defenders of our lineage. This is America, and these flat whiteness immigrants from all over the world has always been open enemies towards foundational Black Americans from day one, no more. Some in the white community would also speak out, stating this wasn't self-defense, it was flat-out murder. Many would be enraged at the fact that Austin's killer was being praised for being Black and killing a white. The donations spoke for themselves, literally, and many have also stated if the races were reversed and the victim was Black, there would be riots and looting. Karmelo's actions in Austin's death was now being politicized and used by radicals on both sides to justify prejudice. In simpler terms, it didn't matter who was right or wrong because the ones speaking out don't care about Karmelo or Austin. They care about their own agenda. Things would heat up again on April 14, 2025 when...
Man, and Jake, you hit it right on the nail, bro. You hit it right. You said that people, their own agendas, and I really feel that, how can I say it? I think they might be mad. Like, some people might be mad at Austin's father for saying what he was saying to that man, over the phone. I think that's, and they probably like, what? Like, oh, no, now you tripping. You feel me? So now they might they probably mad at Pops right now, in my opinion. Like, bro, to further their agenda. Real talk. I'm not going to say no names, no groups, nothing. Y'all know what I'm talking about. They probably mad, like, bro, you tripping. You kind of damn near like humiliated us, you feel me, in public. So they like, okay, no problem, in my opinion.
Judge Angela Tucker reduced Karmelo's bond from $1 million down to $250,000. She also agreed to release him based on his clean criminal record and his athletic/academic background. Karmelo would then be released under the conditions he wear an ankle monitor and be supervised by a parent at all times. Judge Tucker's decision would cause her to receive violent and racist threats on social media, leaving her with no choice but to privatize her Twitter. Judge Tucker's personal security has also been temporarily increased as the FBI investigate anyone who released private or personal information about her, as they plan to charge those responsible with unlawful disclosure of a resident's address or telephone number and obstruction or retaliation. Karmelo and his family would also be targeted through death threats and harassment. People would visit his home, loitering and taking pictures, while others would...
No. They sent this to his house? No, don't tell me that. Wow. See, that's I'm like, bro, I don't know. I just don't see no black people doing like, I don't know. I mean, I know we send messages, but yeah. Look at me, I'm making it erased it. But yeah, I just don't to go out our way to do that. Like, nah, bro, we ain't got time for all that, bro. I'll give you on social media, that's cool. But to be mailing and nah, bro, we ain't got time for all that, bro.
Make false food delivery orders and send hate mail, including Austin's obituary.
Ever wondered what your home looks like from space? Enter your address and get a 360-degree satellite view of your home.
It became common for people to circle the home in their vehicles to essentially provoke fear and intimidation. Karmelo's family would have no choice but to use donation funds to relocate to an undisclosed location. But this harassment wasn't one-sided. Frisco police would receive a phone call reporting a shooting at Austin Metcalf's father's home. Another shooting would be reported at his mother's home. This would happen a total of 3 times, all 3 being fake reports known as swatting, in which an anonymous person contacts police and they respond to what they believe to be a violent situation. Swatting has even led to innocent people being killed by police. Austin's father, Jeff, has been making headlines himself.
Wait a minute, bro. That don't... Nah, bro. That don't... I don't know. Anything is possible, but that don't even sound like that. It's coming from... Yeah, I probably should. Yeah, let me leave it. I'm just... Y'all think about it. Just for a second, think about it. That sound like that's a... What Nip say, RP Nip? Inside job if it look fishy. That's all I'm gonna say.
As he attempted to make peace with his son's killer's family.
Mind you, though, like I'm like all BS aside, I'm not putting nothing past nobody, though. Don't get me wrong. I'm not, but I'm saying over the like how we operate, it doesn't seem like. But hey.
And pray together at a press conference held for Karmelo. Instead, he was escorted out by police, with Karmelo's family apparently uninterested in making amends.
What we seen at the beginning of this press conference, the father being at this press conference, these are my words, don't quote anybody, is a disrespect to the dignity of his son. That was disrespectful and just shows you all the character. Who is not invited, he knows that it's inappropriate to be near this family.
The main voice speaking for the Anthony
Minister Dominique Alexander, Minister of Justice, political, civil, and human rights activist, president and founder of the Next Gen Action, Black Lives Matter, hashtag NGAN. Nah, Neek, I'm not gonna lie, bro. DA, I don't know what you... I'm confused, homie. I'm confused, bro. That man, it would be the other way around, bro. Vice versa. That he wouldn't, if he came to sit, obviously it's closure. For some odd reason, in my opinion, it seems like, hey, I want to... Yeah, that threw me off. Why would you not want to, converse with him? It has, bro, 2 situations is bad. One person is not here and the other one might be away for life. So it's not a win-win situation regardless how you look at this. But we know for sure that one is not coming back. We know that for sure. So why would you not have them converse unless he knows something that we don't know? But yeah, that doesn't make any sense because I don't feel like, he has any ill intent. I get it. Hey, you was not invited. I understand that. But even him showing up, in my opinion, and still being respectful to even walk out of there, like, you know, he didn't cause a scene. Like, okay, I'm sorry, you know, but at the same time, bro, he's grieving right now. Like, you know, we don't know how y'all feeling over there, but right now we probably could have got it, unless you probably look at the situation like, nah, that's all TV and that's all camera. He don't really feel that way. I don't know, but going off first looking at this, I'm gonna be real though. I'm gonna be real though. I mean, like, yeah, that probably wasn't, you know, a good look in my opinion. That probably wasn't a good look in my opinion. But hey, let's keep it going.
Family was not actually a member, but the so-called minister Dominique Alexander, describing himself as a minister of justice, political, civil, and human rights activist, and supporter of Black Lives Matter. His suit, tie, and slow way of speaking aligns with more of a gimmick from a man with an agenda. Come to find out, Dominique has a long criminal history himself and served prison time for abusing a baby. Back in July of 2009, he was babysitting his girlfriend's 2-year-old son when he called her telling her to get home now. He didn't tell her why, and when she arrived, the child was unresponsive. He claimed he'd walked into another room and heard the baby boy fall off the couch as he was watching a movie. When he walked back in, the boy's eyes looked funny, later telling a detective they rolled to the back of his head. The 2-year-old boy was placed in the intensive care unit and discovered to have a subdural hemorrhage at the back of his head, meaning blood around his brain. He also had retinal hemorrhaging, meaning bleeding in both of his eyes. The severity of the boy's injuries were ruled inconsistent with falling off a couch and more consistent with abusive head trauma and physical abuse. Dominique would later plead guilty in this case. Dominique would address his multiple arrests from theft, forgery, stealing a car, making a false police report. The list goes on.
Now, this is where I have a problem with you, Jake. This is where I have a problem with you, sir. For my understanding, that baby was black. I'm not talking about his crime. Don't get me wrong. I'm not talking about, and I'm not giving him a pass. I don't care about that. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm not worried about that. But my thing is, how does that correlate? Are you trying to make it seem like he's being racist, like he has a problem with white people? Because my thing is, what did you even bring up? Why did you bring up his criminal history? I'm trying to figure out how does that correlate with this case? Like, what was the point of even bringing up his criminal history? Not saying disregard it, don't get me wrong, because I feel like the decision he made as far as not speaking to Mr. McCaff, like, I think that was bogus, in my opinion. Wasn't professional at all, you know. At least the parents, and I just realized that he's not even, I thought he was part of the family, so he's a friend of the family. Yeah, I think they probably should, you know, might, you know, disassociate themselves from him, in my opinion, but who am I? But at the same time, bro, what was the point of bringing up his criminal history? Like, Jake, that's what I have a problem with, like, when you do that, because why does that matter? You feel me? That's not the topic of discussion. Why does that matter?
He'd say social media would try to shame him, but ended up showing his testimony. That when he first stepped into activism in 2014, he didn't hide who he was, and he was even named Person of the Year for the Dallas Observer's People Edition in 2015. But in 2019, Dominique would be arrested for striking and pushing his girlfriend.
Dominique Alexander, the founder of the Next Generation Action Network, was indicted today on a charge of continuous violence against the family. That's a third-degree felony. He was arrested back in April after his girlfriend, Kiera Saunders, told police Alexander assaulted her. However, in an affidavit filed before today's indictment, Saunders says she doesn't want any part of the prosecution.
Regardless, this was the face of Karmelo Anthony's family.
So regardless, so, okay, are you trying to, I'm talking like, Jake, are you trying to prove that, you feel me, like his characteristics is bad, so that's why he's not a good at representation, even though you just said that, but for some reason, I feel like that doesn't matter. You're talking about his past, even though a situation just happened in 2019. But at the same time, are you trying to say that he's, you feel me, racist towards the other side? Because bringing that up doesn't, I still don't understand. Maybe y'all can let me know in the comments below.
A man whose sole purpose is speaking against so-called racist police who target black men.
Okay, look, I just said that. Okay, bam. So I know I wasn't tripping. Okay, got you.
He was now taking this opportunity to make Karmelo.
So I still stand on what I stand on. when bringing all that up, it's not. I'm not saying anything. Like, you feel me? I don't see the correlation.
The victim who had to defend himself against his white attacker. So let's look at the facts. Karmelo was an athlete from Centennial High. During a track and field competition, he chose to sit under an opposing school's tent. Austin was an athlete from Memorial High and confronted Karmelo about being under his team's tent. Austin would grab Karmelo's backpack, telling him to leave, and eventually push Karmelo, while Karmelo would grab his backpack, reaching inside, telling Austin, touch me and see what happens. Austin would continue, which led to Karmelo pulling out the knife and stabbing him. Now, my boy JD Delay would break down Texas self-defense laws perfectly.
Constitutes lawful self-defense. It's all going to depend on what state you're in because each state has different laws. But for the sake of relevant current events, let's talk about the state of Texas. State of Texas has the best self-defense laws out of any state in the country. They have stand your ground laws, which means that you do not have to retreat. You're allowed to defend yourself if somebody threatens or physically harms you. But you're only allowed to use proportional violence. So if somebody's coming at you with hands and you shoot them, you could be in a lot of trouble. All depends on the valid and articulable threat that was there at the time. Somebody's coming after you with a gun or a knife, then you are definitely in your realm to be able to use lethal force. However, this does require that you did not instigate the incident and that you are not somewhere that you are not supposed to be. You instigated the incident. If you are somewhere you don't belong or if you use excessive force, self-defense is out the window. Like I said, this is specifically applicable to the state of Texas and their laws, so know the law where you live. Might just save your life or keep your ass out of prison.
And this.
So in this situation, and damn, shout out JD. I like his comment. I love the comment, love the message, but I like his content as well. He be having me rolling. I feel like with this situation, it's not the same. It's not the same because it wasn't private property where Karmelo entered. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't private property where he went. He didn't come to a barbecue like, okay, hey, like, you know, like what's going on? Like I said, this was at a school event. Even if it's sectioned off, right? And none of those tents are sectioned off like that. Like, you know, like I said, so that I wouldn't, you know, I can't hold that in the same regards as to that situation. Now, if it was somewhere else, then okay, well, yeah, that will make sense. You know what I'm saying? That will make sense. But not this situation, bro. That's a public place. So, but I'm gravitating with the observation. I'm not saying I'm right. I'm not saying I'm wrong. I got some more stuff that I got to react to. Man, I'm going to leave the link in the description. You feel me? Shout out 1090Jake, man. Y'all go ahead and tap into that. I think, you know, I'm going to probably tap into that after, but he got some more that he got to talk about. But, yeah, y'all let me know in the comments below. Don't forget, like, comment, subscribe. You feel me? Don't forget to reshare either. Gravitational.